Next we're going to look at this box here and regions of interest. So the first button that we have selected now is the zoom function, and we can, if we like, zoom in on maybe this kidney here. So just draw the box around the area in which you want to zoom in on, and there we go, it's zoomed in. If we want to measure it, we can use this ruler tool and just click through, and we have the line length coming up in millimeters. And if we want to measure the circumference or measure around of an artery, or if we want to measure around a specific feature like this kidney, then we can do this and just double click to finish drawing our lines, and we have the line length around the kidney. These buttons here, the Z and T, allow us to use the mouse just to navigate around the slice positions, and the small button with T on does the same but for acquisition times. And now on to drawing the region. We have 5 different buttons that allow us to draw regions, so we'll just start off with this one, which is just to draw freehand. So we just use the mouse to trace around the kidney like this, and we've drawn a region there, and then this appears in our little region box as region, and we may want to retitle this, as it can start to get quite messy if we're drawing lots and lots of regions. But we might not want to use this, and we can use some other methods. So we can use this one where we just draw a load of lines around the kidney instead. And when we've done this, then we have another region drawn like that. And we can use this circle tool to click on a point and then draw a circle around that point to draw another circular region. We can use a rectangle as well if we like to get a rectangular region, or we can use single pixels as well. There you go. And once we've drawn the region, we can use this tool to move it about if we'd like, and we can start, and then we can also start to add to it. So this one that's been pre-selected, which is the same as this button in terms of the image, is making a new region, but we can also start to add or take away from this regions. And it's quite a good idea at this point to duplicate the region, because, and then we get a copy, because there isn't an undo button. So it's a good idea to just create a copy if we want to start to play around with it, so if we make a mistake we can go back. So this button here that I've got selected now adds on to the region, so we can just draw outside of the region and just slightly enlarge it, or dramatically enlarge it if we fancy. We can take away from the region, which is this bottom button here, and I've drawn a bit too much there, so let's get rid of that. And this is also compatible with things like the pixel ones as well, so we can take out little pixels if we like. And then we've got this button here where if we draw another region here, we can see we've just drawn outside and inside the region. The only bit of the region that will be kept is the area that falls within the old region and the new region, like this. So let's go back to our original example, and what we can do is, if we don't want to draw it through every acquisition time, we might want to extrude the region, and we can extrude it through slices as well, although in this case it's probably best just to keep it with dynamic. And we can extrude in either forwards or backwards direction. I've drawn this on the 0 acquisition time, so only the forwards would actually work, but here you go. Now we've extruded it in both directions, and we can see the region is now there on every acquisition time, and we've created a new region there. Example 1, extrude. Now if we did draw a second region on another slice, let's just draw some quite quick regions, fairly badly drawn here, but it's just an example. So these ones were region 7, region 8, and region 9. And if we want to combine these different regions for each slice to create one big region across the entire every slice and through every acquisition time, then what we can do is go on region and combine. So we can combine all of these, and again, if we wanted them in all the acquisition points, we just extrude this region. So now we can see we have a combined region. So the region here doesn't change, but as we go through slices, the regions have been combined to create one larger region. Other things we can do with the drop down menu, as well as deleting or, as we saw, duplicating the region, is exporting it, again as bitmap or raw data, or quite a useful tool which is select by range. So let's zoom out again, and what we can do if we select by range is we can choose which pixels we want to select. So maybe we only want pixels with values above 100 and below 300 in the current image. So we can see we've selected all of the regions, all of the pixels like that, and any pixels lower than 150 have been excluded from our region. And perhaps another very useful tool is if we go back to our previous example there, maybe this image, let's go back to the oldest one, maybe we only want the absolute the pixels with the larger signal from this region, and most of them we don't want. What we can do is region and shrink by range, and only keep, let's keep the top 30%. And we can see we've just got very few pixels here, and let's zoom in on that so you can see better. There you go, just here. And then we can maybe make this a bit clearer by changing the colour of the region, and there you go. You can see only the pixels with the highest signal have been highlighted there.